Hello and welcome to Free Kick with me Neeraj Prabhu. What a fantastic World Cup this is turning out to be. One by one the big guns are being eliminated, and it was the time for Spain to feel the pain last night. Oh my word, what a game that was. Not great on the thrills and spills of football as such, not many goal mouth moments, but the hosts Russia, the team that was ranked at the 70th position in FIFA ranking, has ousted 10th ranked Spain, the former world champions. And the achievement for the hosts is their best ever in the World Cup since last 48 years when they were a unified USSR. So Russia's big moment has come when their ranking has been at its lowest since 1993. So that makes it a fantastic achievement for the host country. We have with us in our studio, as always, former India striker Francis D'Souza and defender Denzel Franco. Welcome, gentlemen. So we saw yesterday another big upset at the World Cup, and the trend continues.
Yes, Neeraj. We have seen this happening with Germany, Argentina, Portugal, and now Spain. Spain lovers will be totally disappointed. They had the majority of the domination in the game, but football possession doesn't give you goals. You got to be clinical in the box and finish every move that you are creating. And there were very few moves that were created in the match itself, although they had the largest share of the possession. And that's what cost Spain the match. And as usual, Russia had 5 defenders at the back with 3 and 1 up. So they had planned their strategy very well. They parked their defenders at top of the box, didn't allow much headway from the wings, and that's where they have succeeded. And ultimately, their plan has worked perfectly.
Denzel, yesterday both of you experts were in unison that Spain would win the game, but what went wrong for Spain? What do you feel?
Yes, I did mention Spain would go through, but then I also said that the winner would be decided after the 90 minutes, and yes, it went on more than 90 minutes. And seriously, to be honest, Russia played a very good brand of football, especially in defensive wise, and I feel they have done a great job by defeating Spain. Hats off to them, and they being the host, they deserve to, the way they have played and crossed the hurdle, they deserve to be in the semi-finals.
Spain seemed to be, short of their usual rhythm, short of their pace, and they looked off color. Why do you think this happened?
Yeah, I think, Neeraj, this problem started the moment they sacked their coach at the 11th hour. I mean, this never happens when you go in a competition like World Cup. And I think the body language you could make out of the Spanish players right from the first game itself. The flair, the intensity, the determination that you normally see with these players was missing somehow. And ultimately it was the end for the Russian games. And Russia was being backed by their vociferous supporters. You could hear in the stands supporters shouting Russia, Russia. And that has helped the team to come to this level to hold on to Spanish people. Normally the players, I think they must be happy that if they play the extra time, they could still get a goal with the additional 30 minutes. But that was not to be, because Russia knew their purpose, their game plan, and they stuck to it with perfection. And that's what gave them the victory.
Both the goals that were scored in the regulation time came due to mistakes by defenders. So, being a defender for India, you could explain to us what was the big mistake by first Russian defender Ignacevic as Spain took the lead through the own goal.
Yes, exactly. Both the defenders, Piqué and the Russian defender, both of them doing these mistakes which are not supposed to be at that point of time. It's not required. And I feel as a defender, the goal Spain has scored, the Russian defender had no clue where the ball was. All his eyes was only on Ramos. All his body was clutching over Ramos. That was not required. And same goes with Piqué. What was he trying to do? I don't have any idea about it, because his hands go up when he's landing down.
Right.
And that's how Russia wins a penalty. So very sad to see this from a defender, quality defenders.
Very intentional, that hand going up.
It looks very intentional because yes, obviously he's missed the jump of the ball, and then he wants to protect the same ball coming towards his goal.
For an upcoming defender, that's the exact way what not to do while defending, right?
Yes, the basics, you need to be keeping yourself basic things what is required at that point, because you are especially in a D-box penalty area, you cannot afford to do this this type of mistake, and especially players like PK caliber, it's not right from his part.
I've also observed that during set-piece situations when the rival teams defend, they seem to be, you know, kind of playing wrestling at times, trying to hold the rival players wherever possible and get the players down. What is happening, Denzel?
Yes, they do try to you know, get the strikers distracted most of the time. They try to push, and that's normal. But then at the end of the day, you have to realize that such tackles, you know, no matter how distracted you create the striker in his mind, but then you have to be careful, because referee's final decision to give a penalty or a free kick is in a referee's hand.
Right. Francis, we've seen a really good tiki-taka brand of football from Spain when they won the World Cup in 2010. But it seems now that their style is getting very predictable, and yesterday, playing more than 1,000 passes, they couldn't even score one goal. So, you know, for that type of football, how did they, you know, lack that cutting edge to penetrate and score? And should they be reinventing their football now?
Neeraj, when Spain won the World Cup, they were 8 years younger players. They had the intensity, they had the drive,
right,
and they had the will to win. And I think 8 years is a long time in the life of a footballer to remain that intensively fit. And that intensity gives you a cutting edge always when you take on a player or you challenge a penetrative ball. I think what happened now is that they were playing to the width of the field, trying to get possession and then go forward. But it's all about scoring goals. Is all about taking chances. It's all about those chances that you take, like Mbappe has taken a chance of running with the ball. Yes. You see that intensity run and that determination to do something for your team was really missing in the Spanish team. They were more content in keeping hold of the ball and trying to get the openings to the wings, mostly to the left. And it was a predictable thing which the team must have studied very well and watched the videos, and they must have drawn a plan very well, the Russians, and they have succeeded in that. But you need some good finisher for the Spanish team who could make a difference. I think Diego Costa played well in the first two games, but then he didn't have that much of edge in this match, and he was bottled up completely by the Russian defenders.
Right. Coming to Russia and the way they executed the game plan to frustrate Spain and give themselves a really good chance, and they took it well. The goalkeeper Akinfeev of Russia really did well, isn't it?
Yes, especially in the penalty shootout, he was. I would say the penalty what Koke has taken was not up to the mark, but the second penalty what Spain Aspas has lost was not really the save done by the goalkeeper. I mean, he in fact dived to the right, but his legs were still there and trying to save the ball from the center.
That was improvisation on the goalkeeper's part.
Yes, it was. It was a good save by the goalkeeper.
So it takes a lot of technical maturity to pull that save off.
Definitely, he did choose to jump to one side of the angle, and then he at the same time kept his legs, thinking that ball can also be in the center. Yes. Because he
kept his eye on the ball.
Yes, he kept the eye on the ball.
Right. Then we had a game between the two compact European teams in the form of Croatia and Denmark. The pre-quarterfinals produced quite lively first half, but the second half and the match, the extra time didn't live up to expectations. Nevertheless, Croatia got the better of Denmark in the penalty shootouts, where both the goalkeepers made good saves, but in the end it was Croatia's night, and they sealed the place in the quarterfinals against the host Russia. Plenty of saves there by the goalkeepers, but not really the type of penalties that you would have liked to see in the shootouts.
Definitely. Leaving aside the shootout, which is the ultimate choice that the referee does to get a result for the match. But I think what happened in initial stages was that I think Croatia got rattled by the first minute goal that they considered of that planned strategy of the long throw-in.
Yes.
It was a marvelous throw-in which Denmark has converted into a goal. The goalkeeper tried in vain, but unfortunately it rolled back into his net. But they were lucky to get back into the game within a couple of minutes. But when such things happen, the teams, they get, some teams are with a positive effect and some are with a negative effect. For Denmark, it was a positive effect. But for Croatia, I think they were a little rattled. And they tried to get their composure a little back later again. But they were not the same team that I have seen in the previous games.
Yes, especially against Argentina.
Especially against Argentina. I think they have not raised that level of their performance to that level.
True.
Maybe because of this reason that they considered an early goal.
Or but maybe it's a knockout game and they wanted to be careful.
Yeah, that's also a point. But I think Denmark is a team that starts from behind. Strengthening from behind, and they will go forward. That's always been their traditional play and their forte. So that's what they have done. And although Rakitic and Modric tried various methods with the long balls and all, but still they were not able to get a result within that duration time. But unfortunately for Modric, who has been having a good tournament so far, I mean, he couldn't convert the penalty in the extra time, which would have definitely not gone into the tiebreaker. But these things happen to the biggest players.
But it was a very poor effort from a player like Modric, who plays for a high-profile club like Real Madrid. So, what could have been going on in his mind when he stepped down to take that key penalty towards the fag end of the extra time?
Neeraj, it's always pressure and the nerves. You can't say if it is for a seasoned player or not. It always gets the better of you. And I don't think Modric has a weak foot in sending a feeble shot like that. Because you can remember the goal he scored
against Argentina.
Tremendous. It was brilliant, with power packed. So I think it's the nerves and the pressure that gets onto you.
Of the knockout.
Of the knockout. And that's what really happened to Modric.
Coming to you, Danzil, that throw-in was amazing from that Danish player. How does a team develop that secret weapon of a long throw-in?
This throw-in thing has become a very secret weapon for most of the teams around the world. And I have seen it in Indian football, happening in the ISL, it's been happening in World Cup now. And it's very crucial to have a player who has this long throw. It's an added advantage, from a throw-in. That you don't need to have a corner kick to have a 50% of a goal. It's always through a throw-in where you can also have a long throw-in and convert a goal. And that's how Denmark got a goal, first goal. It's very important to have in a team.
Are there specialist routines to develop that throw-in?
I don't think so. It's quite normal. It's natural to a player. We have so many players. We've had Bruno Coutinho in the past in Goan football, in Indian football. We have Raju Gaikwad in ISL. So they work hard. I've seen them. I've played against with Raju, and I've seen his body structure. He's very strong enough to have these long throw-ins.
Right then. Croatia have set up the quarterfinals against the host Russia. The host's interest is maintained because they have got an unexpected chance, unexpected boost to their football by entering the quarterfinal stage. What does that mean to the World Cup, that the hosts are still there, have crossed the first hurdle in the knockout, and now they are going to take on one of the darkest horses in the tournament, Croatia?
It's a very big achievement for Russia because for a very long time after the breakup of Soviet Union, I think Russia hasn't crossed the knockout stages.
Absolutely.
So it's a big achievement, and in the home, being the host, I think is even more greater. And I think Putin would be very delighted that his team has come up into the quarterfinals. And I think he may be motivating the team with a lot of incentives, considering it's a host team. That normally happens. And we never know, we may have another surprise victory for Russia.
Denzel, Croatia versus Russia, do you think Russia will have the similar game plan, or they could, surprise Croatia with something different?
both the teams are strong, but you know, Croatia, Russia being the host, I feel, you know, they're going to go all out. They have everything with them. They have the crowd support, the 12th men, as you say. They have along with them the game, what they have been going through throughout the knockout stages. So yes, I feel they have a very strong thing to get further.
Russia yesterday made one key tactical change by keeping their number 6 attacking player Chersev on the bench to start with. He was brought in only late, so they kind of you know, laid this defensive trap for Spain, and really Spain caught the bait.
And you know, this there is another thing that they have also utilized, the 4th substitution in the extra time.
Right,
they
that's
have
a
taken,
new thing in this
That's a new
implementation
this time, and they have taken advantage of it. So Russia, that shows that their planning has been perfect.
Absolutely.
It shows that they were very focused in what they were doing, and I think they will also devise a strategy to play against Croatia, and we don't be surprised if we get another surprise.
Right. Denzel, what do you make up of this new development in football, the 4th substitution coming in for extra time?
Yeah, that definitely helps the players, because after the 90 minutes, there are some players who are short of fitness, and in the next 30 minutes, if you have an extra substitution, it does help the player to get it helps the team actually in general to get a fresher leg in between and get some results.
Right then. Now we shift our attention to tonight's games with the big one, the biggest one actually, Team Brazil, who have made it to all the World Cups and who have won the titles on the 5 occasions, the highest so far. They are taking on a very dangerous and confident looking Mexico, while in the other pre-quarterfinals later in the night is between one of the very, very bright looking sparks in world football right now, and that is Belgium, who are taking on our very own Asian country, Japan. So 2 different type of contests in offering tonight, Brazil versus Mexico. Do you think it could be a really cracking game?
I think Mexico is going to give Brazil a run for their money. With Lozano being there also, Mexico is always going to be dangerous on the counter-attacks. But you have individual flair of the Brazilians. Don't take it away from them, because they are the creators. They can create a magic at any moment. And Neymar, if he comes good, I think it's going to be difficult for Mexico. And Mexico players and the managers, they know what Brazilian players are capable of doing. So they are going to have that at the back of their mind. But Mexico is not going to. We have always known Mexico to be fighters in the World Cup and leaving the stage. And this game is not going to be different. But when you come to Belgium and Japan match, Japan has nothing to lose. They have achieved a lot as per Asian standards, and I think they will also try their level best and give their best. But don't take out the individual brilliance of the Belgian players. You have Hazard there, you have Lukaku there, you have very good players.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Kevin De Bruyne, you know, who can
player.
create and, you know, the splitting passes. I mean, that can change the complexion of the match. So it's going to be very interesting how Japan counters the fluidity of the Belgian players.
Denzel, Sir Francis's team Germany is already out. Many big guns have gone out. You wouldn't, bear the thought of your beloved Brazil exiting at this stage.
Not at all, not at any cost, because when Sir said that, Mexico has a good team, and yes, definitely they are really good. And but I was very happy when he said the second statement that Brazil has individual players who can prove themselves and get a match result for Brazil. And yes, obviously they have very good players in Coutinho, Jesus, and so on. So I feel Neymar surely not up to the standard what he is set up for himself, but he's a player who can stand up on a certain occasion, and I'm looking forward to see him today just doing something great for Brazilian team.
What could have been the reason, Danzil, why Neymar looked a bit out of sorts, less focused in the group stages? And now it's the knockout, so how can the mentality change from group to knockout for Neymar especially?
See, we know Neymar, what caliber he is, and back of his mind, I'm sure he's got the fright of the injury what he suffered in 2014 World Cup back in Brazil, and the impact of that he had to sit out of the World Cup for the rest of the tournament. So deep down him, he knows that sudden injury can create a problem for him and keep him out. So basically he's trying it safe, but I'm sure he's going to come out all out for this game, because he knows the big guns have already gone out of the tournament, like Spain, Argentina, Portugal, and he cannot afford Brazil to be out. So I'm sure he's going to give all his best.
How much does a World Cup need a hero like a Neymar? Because we already seen the superstars Messi and Ronaldo exit. So does the World Cup, and do all the people, considering the neutrals as well, do they need Neymar to come really good here?
Yes, definitely. We need players like Neymar, because we've already seen Messi and Ronaldo bow out from the tournament. But then, no doubt, there are some youngsters coming up like Pavard and Mbappe. They are scoring goals. But then we need players like Neymar as something we need to be excited about this tournament, about these games in future. So Neymar definitely holds the flag bearer at the moment.
Neymar has at the back of his mind the injury he suffered at 2014. He's come into this tournament with an injury, with a broken foot fracture, and I think now what was behind his mind, he must have got over it when the first 3 matches. And for me, I think Neymar should make this competition his competition, because this is the only chance for him to get the victory for Brazil and stamp his class as the only outstanding player that the world sees and hopes that he will deliver for Brazil.
Especially the youngsters who are crying because Ronaldo and Messi have gone home. They must feel that Neymar is still there and football is still a great game.
Definitely, because they are aware of the capabilities of Neymar. He can turn on the game on a given day individually, and they love the free-flowing youngsters. Always love those groovy footballers and footballers who play a lot with the balls. So I think they will be looking forward for Neymar to succeed in this World Cup.
Another key aspect of this World Cup to me is that this World Cup is of hope, because the lower ranked teams are playing fearlessly and beating bigger teams, more illustrious teams. Yesterday Russia did it to Spain. If Japan does the same to Belgium, it would be amazing for Asia, especially for India. We can look up to something like this in future, trying and upsetting the bigger names. So could this give football a big boost in the Asian subcontinent?
Yes, when this tournament started, Neeraj, you could say that Spain, Germany, Argentina, Portugal were everybody's favourites, including fans in Goa and fans all over the world. They never thought of younger teams that could spring surprises.
Yes.
They were not aware of how much the strength of the weaker teams has grown.
Right.
You know, so now they are aware, and with the big guns gone, who were favourites as per the larger share of the fans all over the world. Now I think what we are looking is like the French team also doing well, the English team have a lot of youngsters,
yes,
and Belgium team who failed last World Cup to deliver. I think we are looking for some surprises from the younger generation now, and it's very true. I mean, we have seen very good players in the last World Cup and the World Cup before that. But I think now youth is taking over, and it's a very good sign, because we are going to see wonderful football, and that's all World Cup is about, seeing wonderful football.
India would love Japan to beat Belgium, isn't it, Denzel?
Yes, of course. I mean, Japan being the Asian country, I would love Japan to do. They have done a great job so far for them. They have
beaten Colombia.
They have beaten Colombia. They have reached this stage, and it's a big achievement for Japan. And if they do defeat Belgium, it's going to be a biggest achievement for them to get into the semi-finals.
Yes, we just have a little time to know your predictions for Brazil versus Mexico first.
I think Brazil will win this time, and also Belgium, I think, will get past a fighting Japanese team.
It's going to be Brazil 2-1, and Japan is going to give a tough time to Belgium, but then I feel Belgium is going to go through 1-0.
Right, so we have the predictions here, but we all know this year it's been very tough for the experts to get their predictions right all over the world, because it has been that kind of a World Cup where the upsets and upstaging of the big guns has been a very regular feature. We expect more of the same as the World Cup goes on. Keep watching Prudent. That's all the time we have in this show. Goodbye.